if you do not mind sharing this live with anyone who has experienced bullying or is a parent that's had to deal with bullying for their children or supporting their children, please do share the live. If you know any teachers, oh, could somebody share this to Debs for me, please? Because she might have some words of wisdom, if you wouldn't mind. Fabulous Debs, could somebody share this to Debs for me? I forgot to message her before I came on. That would be awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so we've hit the 10K goal. Thank you, everybody. We are going to get started now with this live. I just need to do one quick change. Bear with. Oh, thank you, Jim, for sending some roses of support. I appreciate you. Again, we've got a target up there, a rose target. If anybody can help with the roses today, that will really support me and my time doing these types of lives. I would really, really appreciate it. But if you can't afford it, also, don't worry. Just keep tapping the screen for me. That's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Right, let's get the image up and let's get started. Bye-bye. No more Remi. Bye-bye. Hey, Miss Bolt. Welcome in everybody to the Parenting Live. We do these every Thursday at 5 p.m. If you have missed any of the Parenting Lives, they are now on YouTube. You can find the link in my bio. Click on the YouTube link and go over and you can watch the past ones that we've done, including the Women's Health Lives also. And please make sure you subscribe over there as well. Big up Queen Bob with the 52 roses. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's start. So what is bullying? We're going to start there. So bullying is any repeated behavior that intentionally hurts someone else, and it can be physically or it can be emotionally hurtful, or both. And it can happen anywhere, and it might be at a school, a workplace, online, in social spaces, or at home. And bullying is never okay or excusable. It can have a huge impact on a young person's well-being. CG, thank you for the forever Rosa. I'm so excited that I can actually see the gifts on the screen. Thank you so much, CG. That was beautiful, man. Tell your husband to go out more often so you can send me more roses. Thank you. Love the roses in a jar. Thank you. Yeah, so bullying can have a huge impact on a young person's well-being, and it can also have a longer term effect on their mental health even after it has stopped. So here are some examples of bullying behavior. Calling somebody names, making hurtful comments or repeatedly criticizing someone, making threats, being violent or aggressive, spreading rumors, undermining, humiliating, or excluding someone, pressuring someone, or trying to control or manipulate someone. Dressing, sorry, darling, I just scared the dog. Dressing gown, Derek says guilty on all charges. And when these type of behaviours happen online, it's often known as cyberbullying. What up, handsome pigeon? How are you, my love? So there are some specific types of bullying as well. So let's talk about some specific types of bullying, which include racist bullying based on someone's skin color or their ethnicity. There's also homophobic bullying based on someone's sexual orientation. Transphobic bullying based on someone's gender identity. Religious bullying based on someone's beliefs or faith. And targeting someone due to a perceived difference, including a disability or neurodiverse condition. And these types of bullying are legally defined as hate crimes. Hey, Paula. Welcome in, everybody. Not the rose bean. Why is it so cute, though, Yaya? Thank you. That was beautiful. That was actually, I got one this morning. They're actually beautiful. Thank you so much for the love, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. What are the signs if a child or a young person is being bullied? So let's talk about some of the signs that you might need to look out for if a young person is being bullied. Because remember, depending on your relationship with a child or a young person, they may not always be open to communicating what's happening with them. So these are some of the signs that you should be or maybe want to be looking out for. Do they seem worried, anxious, or low? Do they want to avoid school or a place or the place where the bullying is happening? So, for example, if they keep saying that they feel unwell, do they have unexplained injuries such as bruises or scratches? Do they have items or belongings that keep getting lost or damaged? Do they seem less confident in themselves or show signs of low self-esteem? Do they withdraw from other people? Are they struggling more with their schoolwork? Do they get upset or panicky or have outbursts of unexplained anger? Are they showing changes in their behavior, such as suddenly dressing very differently to try and fit in? Do they act in a bullying way towards others? And is their eat or sleep significantly more or less than usual? And it is important to remember that there could be lots of other reasons for these changes. But if you have noticed some of these signs, the next step is to talk to your child or your young person to find out what's going on. And here's some sort of tips of how you can talk to your child or young person about bullying as well. Thank you, everyone, coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please keep tapping the screen, and please could you share the live and help us get this out there, because this is an 18 plus live, which means it is a bit restricted. So if this topic we are talking about today is relevant to you or somebody you know, and you don't mind sharing a live, please, please could you help us by doing so. Evening, Bazza. Evening, Jemmy and Jaspy. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Witch Queen, Shani Sham. If you are worried about bullying, gently check in with your young person about what's going on, and here are some tips that might help you have those conversations. You can talk while you're doing an activity together. One of my favourite activities of getting stuff out of my daughter is talking when we're in the car, where there's no distractions, no mobile phones or anything else. But if you're doing an activity together, whether it's cooking, walking the dog, I don't know, whatever that activity might be, that is a great opportunity to have a conversation with them when they are relaxed, and allow them to open up. So another tip here is use an I sentence to start a conversation. So you could say something like, I've noticed that you seem really down at the moment, and I'm worried that something might be going on at school. Can we have a chat about it? Make sure that you listen to what it's like for them. Remember that they may feel scared or embarrassed about what's going on, and they'll also need you to be calm, listen carefully, and empathize with how they're feeling. I struggle with that because my first reaction is, go put hands on someone, but I'm trying to be a better parent. Um, Also, next tip is be clear that it isn't okay. Let them know that they do not deserve to be treated this way, and it's not their fault, and that they have not done anything wrong. And it can also help to explain what bullying is and how it makes people feel. And this shows them that they're not alone in going through this, and what they're feeling is normal. Thank you, everyone, for the love. Thank you so much. Big up, Jordan with 100 roses. And thank you for the treasure box. Is that infinite? Thanks, Cult Activated, Jordan. Thank you so much. Another tip is to reassure them that you can help them. Go on, Bazza! Potato! Thank you. Thank you for my baguette potato. Thanks, darling. Make sure you can reassure them and let them know that you love them and that you're here for them. and explain that you can work to make things better together, and reassure them that you can take steps towards making sure the bullying stops. And then the last tip here is keep trying if your child is not ready to talk. And this is really important. Keep trying if your child is not ready to talk. Because lots of young people do find it hard to talk with their parents. And if they don't want to talk, try again another day. Don't give up on them. You can also try messaging them, texting them, or even writing a letter instead. And if they can't talk to you at the moment, encourage them to talk to their friends, teachers, or other trusted adults. And so I'm guessing, actually, can you guys put in the chat for me how many of you have experienced bullying with your children? Just put a yes in the chat if your child has been bullied or you're dealing with bullying at the moment. I'd love to know how many of you are going through it or have experienced it. Yeah, it's quite a few of us, right? Thank you. And I'm guessing one of the popular questions is, how can I stop the bullying? How do I make this stop? And it is important to focus on taking practical steps towards making sure that the bullying stops. Your child or your young person can only start to recover from what's happened when they feel safe again. And wherever the bullying is happening, keep a record of the incidents as soon as they start. And this will help you when you're reporting it to professionals. And each time that there is an incident, try to write down what was said or done, including the time and the place that it happened. Take photos of any damaged possessions or physical injuries. Take screenshots of any online messages and write down the impact that this bullying incident has had on your child or on your young person. So I've got 4 steps here for you that if your child is being bullied at school. The first step is read the school's anti-bullying policy. And this will tell you what the school should do about bullying. And the policy is usually on their website. And if you cannot find it, ask a member of staff to send it to you or direct you to where you can find it. The second thing, this is regarding schools, is organise a meeting with the school as soon as possible. Now, this might be directly with their teacher, their form tutor, or the head of year, and use the notes that you've taken to explain what's happened and what's been happening, and then ask the school what actions they can take to stop the bullying. And it can also help to send an email afterwards summarising what you and the school have agreed so that there's a trail. And you can also arrange another meeting for a few weeks' time so that you can talk about whether the school's actions have actually worked or not. And then the third tip here is get support to help you communicate with the school. So if going to the school and communicating yourself is something you're not confident in doing or comfortable doing, you can get support. So it says here, if talking to the school is challenging at the moment, find some support. Before meetings, you can talk through with your friends, family, or other parents, and this will give you a chance to think about what you actually want to say. And you can also ask someone you trust to attend meetings with you when you go into school. And this can help you to feel more confident about communicating your concerns about the bullying. And the fourth tip here is, if your school is not really responsive and the bullying is not slowing down or stopping, you can escalate your concerns if the school is non-responsive. So if you're not happy with the school's response, you can escalate the problem to a more senior member of staff. And this could be the head of year, the deputy head, or the head teacher. And if you are still not happy with the response from the school, you can also contact the school governors, and their contacts will always be on the school's website. And If that doesn't get you anywhere and you need to escalate it once again, you can contact the local education authority or the Academy Trust. How are we doing, guys? Is everybody okay? Now, if your child is experiencing cyberbullying, here's a couple of tips for you as well. Number one, take screenshots so you have evidence. Number two, you can report it to whichever social media platform it is on. Number three, make sure you block the bully. This will stop them being able to contact your child. Number four, keep reporting the bullying until it stops, because it may not stop the first time you report it, or even the first time you block someone. Becky, shush. Number five, talk about staying safe online. Work together with your child to make sure they feel safe and happy when they're online. And number six, talk to their school. Now, the school should be able to provide information and advice about cyberbullying. And if your child or young person is being bullied online by people from their school, report it to the school as soon as you can. It says here, head teachers of state schools have the legal power to make sure their pupils behave outside school. And this means the school should be involved even if the bullying is not happening at school. And I think that's really, really important. And if your child's safety is at risk, and if the bullying is a danger to your young person's safety or makes anyone feel unsafe, report your concerns to the police. You can do this by calling 101 if the situation is not an emergency. And if anyone is in immediate danger, call 999 for emergency support. And you can also report any type of hate crime to the police. So, my final little section that I want to share with you is about what does the law say about bullying. It says here, whilst there is no legal definition of bullying, there is still some law and guidance which schools and other settings must have regards to. So the Education Act for 2002 placed a legal... Oh my God. I've never seen Jolly the Joy Bean. Infinite, that was cute as a button. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, that threw me off. Thanks, Infinite. My goodness. I love you guys. I'm so glad that you are enjoying this live, and we will open the boxes shortly, I promise. Thank you so much, babe. So the Education Act 2002 placed a legal duty on maintained schools and local authorities to safeguard and promote the welfare of children. And some incidents of bullying may also be a child protection issue. A bullying incident should be addressed as a child protection issue under the Children's Act 1989 when there is a reasonable cause to suspect that a child is suffering or is likely to suffer significant harm. And these concerns must be reported to the member of staff in school responsible for child protection and then reported to the local authority's children's social services. Um, the Education and Inspections Act of 2006, it states that maintained schools must have measures to encourage good behaviour and prevent all forms of bullying amongst pupils. And some schools, they choose to include this information in an anti-bullying policy, whilst others might put this inside of their behavioural policy for the school. And these measures must be communicated to all pupils, school staff, and parents. The head teacher must follow through and adopt the policy to all students, parents, and teachers should be notified once it has been decided. And the Independent School Standards 2012 here states that the proprietor of an academy or other independent school is required to ensure that an effective anti-bullying strategy and health and safety strategy is drawn up and implemented. Schools and childcare providers must take steps to prevent and respond to discriminatory language, and schools have the powers to intervene in bullying incidents outside of the school ground, including on home to school transport in the community and online. So this is under the Public Sector Equality Duty of Equality Act 2010. I'm going to read that again. Schools and childcare providers must take steps to prevent and respond to discriminatory language. Schools have the powers to intervene in bullying incidents outside of the school ground, including on home to school transport, in the community, and online. Now, most bullying incidents are not crimes, but some types of bullying are illegal and should be reported to the police. This includes bullying that involves violence or assault, theft, harassment, and intimidation over a period of time. And this includes calling somebody names or threatening them or making abusive phone calls or sending abusive emails or text messages. And one incident is not normally enough to get a conviction. And of course, it goes without saying anything that involves a hate crime. And some cyberbullying activities could be criminal offences under a range of different laws, including the Malicious Communications Act and the Protection from Harassment Act 1997. And there have been some instances of such prosecutions in the United Kingdom. So that's my little educational section over. That was a lot of information. I'm aware that that was quite heavy. Is everybody okay? You guys okay out there? Everybody okay? I hope you're all okay. So that was just some information around what the law says regarding bullying, and also this other website that I'm getting a lot of this content from is from youngminds.org as well. I will be sharing actually I've got an image, and these are the resources. Now this image is in my bio. If you just click on my bio, um, these resources are available for you if you need them. The National Bullying Helpline, Shout, of course, Young Minds Parents Helpline. The Young Minds website on bullying is really, really helpful, and Kidscape as well. And again, thanks to Zoe for gathering this information. If you have been writing stuff down, I've put all of this again. That link, that image is available. If you click on the link in my bio, and scroll down to the gallery, you will see the image there for you. Oh, you're welcome, Infinite. Queen Bob says it's sad that sometimes the child isn't listened to when they do speak up. Do you mean at home or do you mean at school, Queen Bob, or both? I feel like I could be wrong. I mean, this might be a wildly inaccurate statement. I feel like children are heard more now than what they used to be. I think that's the right perception. Um, so let's say their home life isn't great, and even if they do speak up at home, they may have parents that are disengaged or are not equipped to handle such things or to defend them or speak up for them. But I feel like the schools are much better at identifying problems or listening to kids more. I think that's my perception, and but if I'm wrong, let me know in the chat if you've had a different experience. Queen Bob says my great niece's school listened when they got my email with a fancy signature. Bit of both, Queen Bob. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and again, it really varies, doesn't it? I think there are some schools that are quite attentive, and then there will be others that just don't give a damn. Yeah, Infinite says it's difficult nowadays because the bullies can get kids at home via technology. Yeah, and we did that whole live, didn't we, about like internet safety with our kids and stuff, right? And I feel like it's so important. I'm just trying to open the boxes. I feel like it's so important. Um, I don't know if that's worked. I feel like it's so important that parents are, very in touch with what their kids are doing online. Their devices are secured, that there are apps on their devices to not to prevent it, because there's always ways of reaching people in cyberbullying, right? But having an awareness that it's at least happening, because if you have a child that isn't communicating with you, how else would you know? Um, yeah, Queen Bob, exactly that. I think it depends on the teacher, parents. There is a lot of variables. I just think I suppose when I said what I just said, I guess in terms of there is much more awareness of vulnerable kids. And I know teachers are being trained on that and looking at signs. Um, when I say vulnerable kids, it may even also extend to kids that don't have that support at home as well. So I just feel like generally there's more awareness. Now, in practicality, whether or not that is better than say what it used to be, I don't know. Um, it's just a feeling I have that there is slightly a bit more awareness on these things. Hey Zoe,
Evening.
you all right?
Yeah, this is really sensitive because Dylan's had his first bullying experience on the bus today.
Oh no.
However, I can't stress the importance of when you pick a school for your child, whether it's a high school or a primary school, and you go to like these open evenings and these open talks, listen to what they tell you. Because what I've learned is I had one sec, there's somebody at my window.
Tappity
Oh,
tap tap.
one second. I just need to answer the door. 1 second.
Right, if you want to come up into the box, if you would like to come and share, something that's happened with your child or a child that you look after, um, with regards to bullying, um, a little bit about the bullying, but more importantly, how you worked with your child to resolve what was happening with them, how you worked with the school. I would love you to come up and share with us your experiences. Yeah, Lupilos. Lupilos says it breaks my heart if they have a horrible home life and get bullied at school too. It is heartbreaking. And sadly, that is the reality for a lot of children.
I'm back.
Hello.
Oh, right. Where was I? Yeah, so when I went to look at the primary school, it was all, oh, we don't have a bullying problem. The children are really nice. And I bought into it. Yeah, they had a bullying problem and they didn't deal with it. Um, whereas when we went to the high school, the head teacher stood in front of me and literally said, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I don't have a bullying problem. He said, because every school has bullies. He said, but what I will tell you is how we deal with it. And he laid out exactly how it gets dealt with.
Ah.
And that was the difference.
Mm.
And so this incident's happened on the bus this morning. Dylan's gone to school. He's told a teacher. He's come home and he's not having a meltdown and upset because he felt heard, he felt listened to, and action's already been taken at school.
Oh wow.
And I knew about it before Dylan come home because school rung and told me. And the difference in between having a school that doesn't admit to bullying and just lets it happen
Mm.
and the school that has proper procedures and sticks to them makes a massive difference to the kid.
Wow. I mean, that's huge, isn't it? That they were so supportive. They've supported him. They've notified you. Um, and he feels, most importantly, he feels like he's been heard. Um,
Yeah, well,
that's really powerful, actually, isn't it?
massively, because at primary school, I had to phone the police because it was a hate crime, and they told me, well, it's happened out of school, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then when I phoned the police even said to me, so how are they safeguarding Dylan in school if
Mm.
they're not going to address it?
Yeah.
And that was when the penny dropped in my head for me that actually this school just turned a blind eye because they don't want to deal with it.
Mm. Yeah.
So, if things are bad and you're feeling like your school's not supporting you, pick up the phone because I can tell you 9 times out of 10, the behaviours that the bullies are exerting are covered under the law. Whether it's threats of violence, whether it's harassment, whether it's physical damage, whether it's theft, these things are covered under law.
Mm. Mm.
And I felt really bad because I was ringing the police on a 10-year-old, but she never did it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a hate crime, so 100%
Yeah.
you were in your rights to make that phone call, and that child needed to be spoken
And
to.
the best thing about it was the attitude of school, because I warned school and I said to them, well, if you're not going to do anything, I'm contacting the police. And they was like, oh, well, that's what we'd advise you to do, with a bit of a do it, they're not going to do anything attitude.
Yeah.
They had a shock because within an hour of me ringing the police had been on the phone to school and were going into school the next day to speak to this child. So their attitude then changed and was like, oh, well, maybe we need to investigate this ourselves.
Mm. When they saw PC Plod come
Funny
through the
that, because you
door.
told me you wouldn't do anything this morning.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand because we've read the laws and it said that schools need to have some sort of bullying practice in place, that governs the protection of the kids and the students, and for a school to say to almost have it written down as a policy and a procedure, but then do nothing about it is just fucking abhorrent. Excuse my
Look, the
language.
thing is, if you look at the safeguarding policies and the anti-bullying policies, you'll be able to tell by the wording of the policy as to how much support they're going to give the victim.
Yeah.
So,
That's really important. As someone who's about to start picking secondary schools, which terrifies the absolute life out of me, that's a really handy tip for me to focus on when trying to make a decision.
yeah,
Um,
if they tell you they don't have bullying, run. Run, don't do it.
all right, thank you for that, Zoe. That's awesome. Hello, Sam and Bo. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Hello, Sam and Bo. How are you? Oh,
I'm
we got.
okay.
Oh, have you got me on?
Yes. I'm okay, thank you.
Hello, Sam and Bo. How are you? Oh,
I'm
we
okay.
got. Right, you're echoing, Sam. You might have to come back. Request the box again. CG, hello. Hello there.
Hello, am I echoing?
No, you're good.
Oh, good. Okay. Um, my situation is not massive. It's nowhere bad as Zoe obsessed. Um, full name. Um, but my daughter, same age as yours, year six now, but when she was in year five, was being picked on by kids, being told she was immature because she said she liked watching Frozen, and had people giving her dirty looks in the playground and telling her she was boring because she was going on and on when she was trying to hang out with the cool girls, so to speak. And my husband and I, being incredibly overprotective, both immediately were like, we're not having this. So I just immediately launched into overprotective mother mode, emailed a teacher, and he amazingly called me an hour later and said, right, how are we going to do with this? What can I do?
Mm.
He moved her to a different seat so she didn't have to sit next to the people that were making her feel uncomfortable, because I didn't want it to impact her confidence in the classroom. And he actually suggested setting up a thing where if she felt worried about anything, she could write it on a secret packet of post-it notes and pass it to him, and he would read it and deal with it that way. He was
Oh,
so
that's
lovely.
lovely.
And she immediately, even though she said it didn't really bother her, you could tell it did. And she
Mm.
immediately just felt so much better that they'd just taken those simple steps. And she's much better now. And actually, the people are nicer to her because she's kind of getting a bit of a break from them.
Yeah.
And I know, I think I mentioned it to you earlier, that a friend of mine's daughter is having much more serious problems with somebody really picking on her at school. And again, the school have been like, right, what can we do? And sort of immediately ask. So I think, like Zoe said, it's really important that you find a school that knows how to deal with it, and that you, in my opinion, nip it in the bud early and don't think, oh, we'll just let them sort itself out. And I'm sure it's not that bad. And you need to just, toughen up a bit. And
Mm.
I just think, no, just get in there, interfere. And she tells me off for emailing about things too quickly. And so sometimes she tries not to tell me things because she knows I'm going to be straight on the laptop. Um, but then obviously she realises that sometimes you just need your mum to wade in and then
Yeah.
show them. And I think also, just don't be afraid that you're going to make it worse, because if you actually go in and you're the parent and you scare the crap out of them for being little shits, then
Yeah.
they learn, don't
They,
they?
they do. They do. And somebody mentioned it earlier. I mean, I shouldn't really worry about it, but I worry about everything. My biggest worry is the kids that don't have parents that will speak up for them. That really breaks my heart, like,
Mm.
I mean, our kids are lucky. They've got us gobby mums who, will show up or write the email or make the phone call. Um, it's just that there are kids that don't have that. They don't have anyone to stand up for them, and then they're silently suffering at home and going to school and still being
Mm.
bullied. And unless you have an attentive teacher who cares and will go above and beyond, they could be stuck in a very, very sad place.
Yeah, definitely. We're fortunate that our kids are fortunate that they've got us as parents, and
Mm,
we're fortunate to have good teachers, because you can have rubbish teachers that just say, oh, they'll sort it out between them, and
yeah,
it's too much hassle and whatever. But
yeah,
it just takes somebody that's actually, good at their job, who wants
yeah.
to care for them.
And also, if you are a mum who's maybe quieter or more reserved, and you're not a gobshite like me, then if you can have conversations with either friends or parents that might be able to help you and support you in speaking up. Some of you might be silent watchers in here. Maybe you're also silent in life, like generally speaking, like you don't want to rock the boat, even if your child is being bullied or harassed, and maybe you find it hard to do that, then I would implore you to reach out to a friend or I don't know, another parent at school that maybe you talk to in the playground, and see if you can get some support with speaking up on behalf of your child as well, because it can be hard if you're quite introverted, or if perhaps you're a parent that was bullied yourself and you don't know how to deal with these things. um, See if you can seek help. I mean, what do they say? It takes a village, right? It takes a village. Or even emailing. Thank you, Loopy Loz. Yeah, even emailing if you feel you can't do it face to face.
That's what I did, because if I get stressed about something or upset about something, I cry immediately.
Oh,
And it's not
brilliant.
necessarily because I'm upset, it's just what I do when I'm in a
Yeah,
confrontational situation. So
yeah,
I don't like to do it in person. I
yeah.
have got a friend at school who I know that when she hears about something going on in the class, this is for my younger child, she will get the two parents together
Mm,
just off her own back, and she'll say, right, there's an issue between your child and your child, let's sort this out, because we don't want this in our community, in our classroom. And some
oh,
people think it's a bit over the top, but I think,
I
well,
think that's
fair
great.
enough,
I
because
think it's
why
great.
why not deal with it before it becomes an issue when they're little, and
Yeah,
you can sort of
yeah,
get a good relationship between the parents as well. But she is American, and
yeah.
so she's loud, but she's doing good.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I think that's really
Yeah.
wonderful. What a nice strategy. All right, thanks, CG, my love. Thank you, darling. Yeah, yeah, you're up next. How are you, my darling?
Hello, my angel pie. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Does Sam and Bo want to go first, just because she came off and reconnected? I'm happy to wait. I'm
Okay,
happy to go
that's
now.
cool. All right, darling. Sam and Bo. Hello.
Hello. I'm just saying that Bo is a dog, so he's not a person.
Oh, just Sam then.
Yeah, it's a Sam. He can't talk. He can bark, but he can't talk.
How are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm glad it's actually sorted that I'm not echoing now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate that. Right,
Yes,
what do you want
yeah.
to share with us about bullying,
Yeah,
darling?
it's just when you actually put the video up and saying that about bullying. Now, I've got a bit of an issue when it comes to bullying. My son was bullied from year 1 to year 3.
Oh,
And it was got to the stage where my son was getting angry. He was asking for it to stop. I was going back and forth to the school, talking to the school. I even had arguments with teachers and parents. It's like, I'm like you, I can be the most gobbiest cow that anything can be. And I'm very protective of my child. So, but like all of us are.
mm,
But it was just the fact is there wasn't taking no notice, and it got to a stage where last year it got so bad my son literally snapped and turned on the kid that's been bullying him for quite a while.
mm-hmm,
And it's like it got to a stage where I was being threatened outside the school, and they're saying, oh, it's a hate crime and everything else. Now my son's mixed race, so I would have thought that was the other way around personally. But it's like there was threatening me, and on top of that, it's got stage where I ended up taking him out. Now the school that he's at now is a brilliant school. They know about the issue that he had beforehand, and they have actually worked with him. He's a lot happier now because I had to move him out of the school, because it got to stage where at the end of it I fell ill because of the stress.
oh, wow.
They did actually, with this family, they did actually take it onto social media and decided to put the boot in on here, and then took it over to Messenger, and that's because I blocked her and she didn't like it. So yeah, it was quite nasty, and it was like 3 years of bullying, and my son was literally crying. He was begging for it to stop.
So just to be
And
clear, the school basically didn't help you for those 3 years.
no, they did not help me. It's all they kept on turning around and saying, oh, it's rough play. But when my child's coming back upset and angry, pleading with it to stop, it wasn't rough play. And I was trying to say that to the school, and they just was not taking no notice of it.
Man, that's awful. That's awful. Yeah, that's
So,
really bad.
but yeah, it's like now he's moved out of school, and
And he's a bit more settled and happier now.
He's a lot more settled. He's a lot more happier.
Oh,
And
that's
he's even
wonderful.
got friends that he actually goes and sees and plays with outside school. My son's not here; he's actually out with his friend at the minute. So from
Oh, well,
school. So
I'm glad there's a happy ending, but it's sucky that that you've gone through 3 years of kind of hell with the kids and the
yeah,
parents.
yeah, there was a lot of to and fro that was going back, and I was at one point they even said to me and said, if you don't stop, they was going to ban me off the grounds. And I told anger to him and said, look, I said, I'm the only person who can actually bring my child into school. and if you ban him off the grounds, ban me off the grounds, then my child, I'll
Won't
be
come to
taking
the
my child
school.
out.
Yeah.
And they actually turned and actually said, okay, we'll sort it out, but they never did.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful, awful. Like White Wolf has just said, not White Wolf, sorry, Queen Bob's just said that that is awful and that is a complete failure to safeguard your child by the school. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's
Yeah,
awful.
I do agree. It is a failure on their part. But the amount of parents I have actually spoke to since that's actually happened, who actually moved their child out of that school and put them in the school that my child's in now
Mm,
for the same reasons. So they have got history
yeah.
of this happening, and kids have been moved out of school and been put into different schools
And it's got to
because
be right because a lot of these schools will have policies, right? But it's either they just don't want to deal with it, like they don't want a headache, or they the line I hate, and I used to hear it when she was in like I don't know, like year four or whatever, was that, oh, we'll just let them work it out amongst themselves, or like if they could just avoid each other, but then nobody's supervising that they avoid each other, or or that, or they'll say, we'll keep this child in for a break time and the other child can go out, but they find excuses versus like tackling it head on and having conversations with the child and the parent that is doing the bullying or that is making another child. It's almost like they just want hands off some schools. They're just like, oh yeah, it's fine. They can just stay away from each other. They can just pick some other friends. But like if the bullying is still happening and it's not actually being addressed, that is very harmful to a young person.
oh yes, definitely it was really difficult, and and it's like I was being called into the school as well, but there was more focus on me and my child. There wasn't focus on dealing with the situation with who was actually doing the bullying.
Yeah.
They kept on blaming my child for it, and it got to that. It ended up being a bit of a smear campaign against me and my child as well. So
Oh wow.
it was a
Awful.
horrible situation.
Yeah.
It
Sounds
was a horrible
awful.
situation to be in.
Well, I'm just really happy that you're in a better situation now, and hopefully your boy, doesn't get any more hassles, throughout his school career.
No, he's perfectly fine now. He's a lot happier now. So, but when he goes up to secondary school, which is not going to be for another couple of years, then he's going to be at a secondary school that is not in my local area.
Mm,
So it's because there is a secondary school that's quite close to me, but all the kids that was actually bullying him would end up going to that school.
I
But there
get
is
you.
another one that's not that far away from me.
I get you. And look, I was talking earlier on today over on Favoured about my anxiety about my daughter going to school, and a lot of that is just in my head, and I need to get over it a bit. But again, the resources are in my bio, link in the bio. The image is there, but also just remember that there are procedures that if when your child does change schools or goes up to secondary school, and should they experience bullying, that the school should have a procedure of what they do with regards to bullying, and report it to the teacher, head teacher. You've got the governors, you've got other phases where you can raise it to as well, but just make sure you know where you can access their um, sort of bullying procedures or their behavioural procedures for the
Yeah,
school, and then
yeah.
make sure
This
you're up to date on
So
that.
yeah, the school that I'm looking at, I've got a friend and her son goes to that school.
Mm,
So I've been asking questions anyway, and then when it gets to the stage where I'll be looking at schools, secondary schools anyway, I'm going to be asking those questions. I'm a glutton for asking all manners of questions
good.
anyway.
No,
So,
that's
and
good.
if it's not the right answers I'm being given, I was like, no thanks.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right, my darling, I'm going to move on. Thank you so much for coming
Yes,
up,
yeah, I'm
and
going to boot myself down now. Thank you.
thanks, Sam. Take care, darling.
Thank you.
Um, all right, just get that off there.
Um, how do
I'll,
I put myself down?
I'll put you down, Sam. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah, yeah.
Hello again, my love.
Hello, babe. Thank you
Um,
for
I,
that.
I, I don't know where to start. Both of my children have experienced bullying through juniors and secondary school. My eldest is out of it now, and the bullying she went through, it ended up on the worst kind of scale where it ended up outside of school, and it
Oh,
ended up getting physical between children and parents.
oh
I
God.
had to go through the police. Um, but that's all sorted now. But in regards to my son, there's bullying from students, but also teachers.
Oh.
Um, yeah. Um, he is on the spectrum. He's got ADHD and autism, and he's very socially awkward, but he's a big boy. He's 5'10". He's built like a shit brick house. But he doesn't. I can explain it. He's not very. When you look at him, he's not timid. There's nothing like that. It's the complete opposite. So if he doesn't know you, he's
Mm,
very standoffish. Meeting
mm,
new people, very standoffish. There's no eye contact. And there's been two occasions now where the rapport and communication between my son and these said teachers has just been awful. And they've taken it personally. I've tried the whole, can we please mediate? Can we
mm.
meet in the middle? Can we, as much as he is a human being and has feelings, you are also a human and have feelings. So I've tried to tackle it
Yeah.
that way and just keep it. And it got to a point where they've put hands on him to move him to one side to the other. They've put hands on him to get him to scribble this, that, and the other. And I was absolutely fuming. I was fuming, and it's at one point. At
Mm-mm.
what point does the school stand in? And we've explored absolutely everything, and we need to put things in place so these things don't start. As I said, it's happened twice now. And what the school have done, the teachers, because I went, is it Lado?
Is it what?
Lado? Is it Lado? Where it's the best way I can explain it is kind of like the social services, but for schools. I
Okay.
contacted them and they had to do a what's the word I'm looking for? They had to kind of like do an assessment on the teachers and such. They weren't kicked out of school, they weren't suspended, they weren't anything. They just kind of juggled it around. But the backlash of that is now that these teachers have now commented to other teachers, keep your eye out for so and so, and he's a troublesome child. Whereas it's not the case. So how do I stop that from happening? How do I refuse
I don't
point
know because
blank?
I'm just still hung up on hearing you saying that teachers put a hand on your child because right now I'd be in a cell, so I'm not even going to be equipped to answer the question. Zoe.
You know what? Has he got has he got an EHCP in place?
No, Zoe. So he's not eligible for it because academically he's absolutely fine. Whereas my argument is his so the lack of concentration, the stimming, the sensory overload, the social situation, those are the things that are hindering him at
Yeah.
school, but it still doesn't class as him in need of having an EHCP.
Oh,
And
bloody
who
hell.
is it that's told you that? Is that school that have told you that?
So prior to going up to secondary school, the head of autism team came out to his junior school, like the transitioning, and she said very point blank he wouldn't. I've tried to do it two times independently, and they've refused it again
Just because
because
it's not just for academic needs, it's for
it's
emotional needs as well.
it's absolutely wild. But again, because of the masking, with my
Mm,
son, it's very much regimented. He knows the minute that he walks out of the door, he knows what to expect. He knows what to. So the things that typically happen, he knows how to deal with it. But then when he gets home, it's an absolute blow up. There's tears, there's lots of sleep, and then it's like, I felt really rubbish today. I felt really targeted today. I felt this, that, and the other, but you can't
mm,
verbalize. So they don't see it.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
enough for me to have notepads on notepads, emails. He did so there was at a point where one Senko would sat him down and what is it where he's drawing? They kind of talk through the drawing and they'll assess it from
Yeah.
like a lot of his drawings were dark. There was nothing too dark to where I'm going to get sectioned, but everything was pretty negative.
Mm,
Um, so I say I feel like I'm at a loose end. I'm not. We do a lot on resilience. We do a lot on the things that you control and what you can't control. And please know that I will always be there to kind of fight tooth and nail. I refuse to move in school simply because there's bullying everywhere.
Mm.
And he has built some pretty good, strong relationships with other teachers. And again, I've said this before, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not ringing, they
Mm.
don't see my face. There isn't some form of communication because I won't give up. He is entitled to an education, whether, I don't know, you mentioned it before about the teachers are being taught kind of, to understand the children a little bit more. They've put in an incentive at the minute where, because I've joined they do meeting once a month for parents to come in and kind of liaison with the teachers and such.
Mm.
And their words are, there's kind of like a two-tier system. We've got the lucky children and the unlucky children. Those that are unlucky come from bad housing and poor
Oh,
family
I don't
structures
like
and
that
stuff.
already.
Oh
Fuck
my
that.
God! So honestly, if the words weren't worded, my face was worded, my whole demeanour says, "Can you elaborate?" Because it's not the case of them being unlucky. And where are the ones that meet in the middle that come from a two-family household? The nuclear family as such. But
Yeah.
they're still troublesome. I said it's not. If that's the ideology and that's how you are then teaching your other teacher, you're not going to get far with it. It's so I don't know. So I don't know. It's a daily battle. It's a
Um.
daily battle.
Is have you? So is this just with the form teacher? Have you spoken to the head or governors?
Spoken to the head.
Has it been
So
escalated?
it's been escalated with the governors. Every email I send, everybody's tagged in it. Safeguarding, the
Yeah.
Senko, the behaviour, the attendance.
Yeah.
Um, the school that my son goes to, it was very close to being shut down completely. So they're working up.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for parents out there, because I was that mum that cried.
Yeah.
I was a crier.
Yeah.
And one teacher turned around and said, you need to stop being so emotional. And again, I took that very emotional, but now, very literally, I will take the emotion out of it. And matter of fact, by your policies, you're not doing what you should be doing.
Yeah. 100%.
Um,
Listen, sorry to interrupt you. White Wolf Kaz has written in the chat that they got the Autistic Society involved when their son was being bullied by teachers. Could that be another avenue for you, the Autistic
yeah,
Society?
I've been through that one. So they've been in contact. And they've moved in class to avoid said teachers. They've made it so these timetable he will never confront them. But it's that thing of I don't feel it's enough.
So what
Sorry,
would
let me
you
say the
like to
name.
happen, darling?
I want to sacked. I'm only joking. I don't. I just need you to be able to learn from it. Do you know
Hold
what?
on, don't
Nothing's
even
perfect.
joke. They put hands on your child.
And do you know what they said to me? It wasn't. There's no red marks. There's no nothing.
Oh, so that's all right.
By
We can
law,
push your
by
child. We can move your child.
absolutely.
But if there's no
Had
marks,
my
it's fine.
had my son come into school and said, my mum had done X, Y, Z, I'd have social service all over me. Same applies in school.
Mm-mm.
And very matter of fact, you're not to put hands on anybody, whether it be
No.
a finger, you're not supposed to do it. So again, it just goes back to that I control what I can in regards to the bullying. They know who I am, and they know that I'm educated. I'm not a stupid woman.
Yeah.
I may not be able to articulate myself a lot of the time,
Mm.
um, but my motivation is his education, and I don't know. I think we're all fighting something
Yeah.
in this space now. I needed it, and I think a lot of other parents will benefit from it. And I
Mm.
think it's very important that we do have these talks because not everybody listens, and sometimes we
No.
just don't feel heard.
No, absolutely. And I'm loving the support in the chat. I don't know if you're reading the chat, but there's loads of suggestions for you. Um,
No, if I read the chat and talk, and then I just start stuttering, so
I know.
I'll read it after.
But no, there's a lot of support. A lot of people are kind of a bit shocked by what's really happening with you and your son. Queen Bob has suggested going to local councillors or MPs as well.
Yeah.
Queen Bob says assault is assault, and based on the stuff that I've read, technically, you know, you could probably report this to the police,
100%.
because they've put hands on your child, and it's irrespective of whether or not it's left marks. They've done it twice, so
Yeah.
yeah. Queen Bob saying it is reportable to the police. Um,
Just to point out as well that if the school won't want to self-refer, if they've been being investigated already and was almost shut down, they will not want a police investigation because of children being assaulted. So
Yeah.
they will sort of try and deal with it in-house, and you'll probably find that it won't be the necessary outcome that should happen because they want to keep it as quiet as possible.
Well, I've got all of, as I say, I date everything. I have everything written down, have all the emails and such. It would break my heart if another child would be going through this. Again, like you say, it's not all children have those parents that have the capability,
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I didn't know which story to tell you. I've just ended up on this one because, again,
It's all
my
right.
face is all over LinkedIn. I'll search for you and you'll know. I'll be there and I'll see you on LinkedIn. I don't know. It's tough. Your parenting's tough. It's
It
tough.
is
It's
tough.
so hard. It's so hard, but it's so worth it.
It's hard,
It is hard. It is hard.
but we fight.
We do.
And if
We
you
do.
need any, if you want any help, if you feel like you need a bit of mum support, just message me because I can help you.
You're an absolute angel, you are.
And she
You could
will
be
help
obsessed
you.
with me any day.
Zoe will help you. She is a right little fighter. So yeah, do reach out. But yeah, it's a shitty situation to be in. And like we said, it's this EHCP thing as well. And by not having that as well, which I don't fully understand, but like you're in this weird loop of a position that he's, he hasn't got the EHCP and he's in the class, but then he has additional needs that need to be considered, and they're not being, and then it results
What
in
I will say, where
yeah, go
we
on.
lack in support outside. Okay. Sorry, am I
No,
echoing? Am I okay?
yeah, go on.
No,
I
yeah.
stopped.
So I think where we lack in support in other places, i.e. EHCP and all the above, we've become so much stronger as a unit.
Mm,
Is, as I say, his resilience. As I
yeah.
say, at home and stuff. And I think that was an important milestone that we both had to go through. As I said, I used to be that blubbering parent. And he used to be the one that became very avoidant, but he's so much more confident within himself because we've gone kind of through this
Mm,
Can I ask
bullying
how
and
old he is, Yaya?
yeah, he's 13.
I just wanted to pop up and say, so as a mum on the other side of it now, I didn't think there was anything. I was just going to sit and listen. And my son's 33 now, and it's my only, I don't want to say regret because it's such a hard word, but it is a regret that I didn't push things harder when he was younger, because I was a single parent and you felt like the world was looking and expecting you to fall down.
Yes.
I kind of respected authority so much that I just did as they said. And there was a bullying situation when he was only 4, when he just started school. And I knew damn well my child was in the right. But because they were telling me, oh no, this is how it happened, I accepted that version. So as Lewis got a little bit older and other things happened, and then by the time he got to high school, I'd found my voice and I haven't shut up since. And I would encourage any parent that is unhappy with any situation, especially in a school environment, to use your voice. There's a massive safeguarding issue with what's happened here. If somebody isn't trained, they should not, in restraint, they should not be putting their hands on your child. Full stop. And it's really, really difficult, as you've just said yourself, if you find it hard to articulate what's going on, then they are so patronising.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
stand there feeling like you are being berated when all you want to do is protect your child. And unfortunately, pastoral support across the board is not always very good. It really falls down. And if I was you, I'd be taking it to the police. That's why I asked how old he was.
Yeah, and I think I'm in the position where you was. I finally found my voice.
Yeah,
Because it was just so unjust. There wasn't any
yeah,
justice any which way I was going, and I was calling the autism team, and I was calling this person, that person, and I got to the point where I'm doing absolutely everything. Where's this? It takes a village to raise a child. I'm a single parent,
yeah,
but I'm literally doing it on my own.
yeah.
And I
And
think
it's harder, isn't it?
I don't know, my baby dad, I think it'd be harder. But no, it is bloody
Oh
hard.
yeah, my
It's
baby's
so
dad as
bloody
well. But
hard.
you know, that's but it's
It's so
that when you're at the time when you're doing it and you haven't got anyone else to bounce off, and you're like,
yeah.
you just you feel like it's not necessarily that people are expecting you to, but I certainly felt like people were waiting for me to fail, that I was going to get it all wrong.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And it's the patronising, and it's
Yeah,
especially with the kind of area you're living in, Oh no, this is my last name. But especially the kind of area you're living in, Miss Yaya. No, he is entitled to an
yeah,
education
absolutely.
as much as I'm raising him to respect others. He's a human being, and if he's not having that same respect back, then
Lewis got to a point
respectfully, yeah,
at about the age 13 where he punched a boy that was bullying him for so long, and my son was absolutely devastated for so long afterwards, because he's just not who he is.
Oh my God,
He's
I'm so glad you said that, because my son did that this week. And I
It's
was absolutely
hard because
devastated. I was
yeah,
devastated.
Lewis was devastated. He was so upset with himself because I always feel that if violence, I came from a violent household as a child,
Yeah,
so I'd always instilled that violence, you've lost control.
yeah,
Things have got out of hand. There's other ways to deal with situations. We don't have to get there. I wasn't the mum that
yes.
said hit back. I tried other ways to deal with it. And Lewis had obviously got to the end of his tether and he punched this boy, and the boy ended up with a bloody nose. And Lewis was just like, oh,
No.
he couldn't believe what he had done. And that was unfair as well, because he's a really sensitive lad, and he's now a beautiful, well-adjusted, sensitive, gorgeous young man.
Aw.
But I do wish there was other things that I'd gone, no, hang on a minute. No, I'm not having that. You're not. I know nobody knows your child like you. I did put it in
Yeah,
the chat. My mum always said there's no such thing as bad pupils, only bad teaching attitudes. That
yes,
you
yes,
cannot be in a classroom, you cannot be in an environment where that you're educating children and expect every single child to be able to react and learn by your one teaching style.
True.
yeah,
We are all completely different, aren't we? We've all got
We
different
are.
approach.
Right, I just
absolutely.
need to jump in here just to say, yeah. Lindsay said if the school aren't supporting with EHCP and bullying, contact the local authority and fill out a form to complain to IPSEA, IPSEA.
Oh,
There is
let
a
me write that down.
template online to help you.
Oh, it's
Um,
brilliant.
so
Ipsy.
I need to move on because I am wrapping this up in by 1:30. So I just need to
I
jump.
Okay,
just wanted to say
sorry.
that. I'm going to jump down.
All right, thanks, Foofs. Love ya.
Toodles.
Thank you, Foof.
Good.
Thank you for sharing, Yaya. I'm going to move on to Claire because I haven't got much time left. I need to make my daughter some food. She's just entered the room looking for food.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Thank
it's all
you.
right. Eh? Okay, you can have some
I just
snack.
say thank you.
Eh? Yes, please. Is that all right, Yaya? Sorry.
No, it's not. I'm only joking. Of course it is. Sorry for taking up so much time.
But yeah, read up in the comments. Read what Lindsay said as well, and get that. And there's loads of other really helpful comments in there as well.
No, I will do. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Let me just mute myself. Hi, Claire. What would you like to share about bullying, darling? Sorry to keep you
So,
waiting.
no, it's fine. I will wrap it up I'll try and do it as quick as I can. So my oldest son, who's now 15, he's been bullied since preschool. So he went to preschool, and at first it was just, the child pulling toys and whatever off of him. And I was like, okay, we'll leave it as, they're learning how to share. But he used to be hit every day, and I used to obviously talk. Then he went into proper school. The same kid that was bullying him in preschool started bullying him in proper school. And I kept going in and in and in to the point he broke my son's arm. He jumped on his back, made his arm snap. I went to the school. The school said, no, it was an accident. He just fell. I said, no, he didn't. More than one student had told me what had happened, like parents had told me. I had to go to the newspaper because they actually left him in school for 4 hours with a broken arm, with him screaming before they called me. And then had a go at me because I didn't get to the school when they did call me. It took me 15 minutes to get there. They then told me that I was in the wrong. And then by the year 2, I pulled him out of that school because it just carried on to the point that me and the mum nearly had a fight, you know. Then I put him into another school and I moved house, and he then started getting bullied there because he is a big boy. We do think he's on the spectrum of autism. Again, the school didn't do anything. I was in there every day, and to the point where when I was walking in, they would roll their eyes at me. No one ever helped. I'd have meetings after meetings. A child protection woman, I'd have meeting. I tried to get CAMS involved. The school went against me and said there was nothing wrong with him, when everybody that meets him can tell that he's on the spectrum. They said no. I then got the people to come in to assess him. Some family stuff happened. I'm not going to get into that. He didn't get assessed because of it. And then he went to secondary school. And from the day he started at secondary school, he's been bullied. Some by the same kids from primary school, some different. He's been beaten up. He's been physically attacked in school. He's been threatened to be unalived. He's
Oh,
been thrown in front of a car.
are the school not doing anything to help you with what's happening?
No.
Nothing at
So
all.
none of the schools have. The secondary school, he has one teacher he goes to who's who's usually like a deputy head of each year, and she's gone up the years with him.
Right.
And I call her and I speak to her and she goes, oh yeah, I'm going to sort it. But all she says to the kids is don't do it again. And I always ask, why are these kids not being punished? And she's like, but we do punish them. And I'm like, but how? And no one ever gets into what they've done, to the point I've called the police at least 6 or 7 times. I've had, in the last year, I've probably had about 25 to 30 meetings with the school. I've tried to get kids involved. My sisters have come to meetings because I'm dyslexic and I'm not very good at getting my point across, verbally and stuff. My sister comes to try and do it for me, but still, nothing's happened. He's now in year 11. And I say nothing's happened this year since he's gone back, but we're only like 3 weeks in. So it usually takes about 3 weeks and then it starts. Obviously,
hell,
this year
mate.
is a lot of pressure. So
Honestly,
he hides himself in his
I
room.
couldn't put my kid through that, Claire. Like, I mean, I know that might
Yeah.
sound massively
I pulled
judgmental,
him
but
out
that's a
loads of
long
times.
time of
Yeah,
bullying. Have you
yeah. I
reported
pulled
any of
him
this
out
to
of
the
school.
police?
Yes. And the police have gone round to some of the kids' houses. They then stop for a few months and then it starts up again. And the school has kept some of the kids in classrooms away, but at break time, never does. He's been recorded while he's been beaten up. It's all over the internet. There's so much that's gone on. I pulled him out of the school. Then I get threatened with the courts and stuff. I'm like, take me to court. Then I have people turning up at my house telling me they're going to take my kids off me because I'm not sending them. So there's so much.
Bloody
Like I
hell.
said, my son, he's a big lad. He's like over 6 foot. He's 15, 6 foot. He's a big lad. And when he has these big meltdowns because of everything, I then have to try and deal with that. And I've got a 7-year-old that he has a meltdown, and my 7-year-old has a meltdown, and I just sit and have a meltdown. I'm like, and we all just start crying because of
Oh,
what's going on. Whereas my youngest, he doesn't get, it is bullying because they constantly call him names, but he's so unaware of it because he's also on the spectrum with ADHD. He's so unaware of it.
yeah.
But again, the school is quite, in year 1, they would say stop telling telltales every time he opened his mouth. But since he's gone into year 3, they're really on it.
Yeah.
So they're not going to allow it. But because I, as the other lady said, she found her voice. I think for many years, I didn't have a voice. And I'd go in, but I didn't push on it. And they would go, no, this actually happened. And I was going to my son, no, 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 it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They'll sort it for many, many years.
Yeah.
But I've realised now I've had my second as well, I ain't allowing them to go through it no more.
Yeah. Good.
But it's
Good.
hard because my oldest don't leave the house without
No.
me. And when he does, he has his hood on and he hides himself away because he's scared when we're walking on the street, somebody's going to see him
Yeah.
and then say stuff because, you know, he's been called, your mum's fat, your mum's this, your mum's that, because they've seen me and I'm a big lady.
Mm.
So he hides away even when he's down the street with me because he's scared of what they're going to say.
Oh, darling,
So
I'm
yeah, it's
so
a lot.
sorry. It is a lot, and I'm sorry that you and your kids are going through this. It's awful. It seems like you're doing all the right things. You're talking to the school, you're reporting to the police.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to be sharing some links. Well, the links are in my bio, and they've got some.
I just want to let the parents know that obviously kids are going to go into secondary school to try their hardest, you know, to have a voice if they can for their kids, because I feel like secondary school is when they start getting, you know, depression.
Yeah.
Because my son suffers from depression. He's tried killing himself.
Mm.
He's gone through CAMS again, and they had to do like this course with him to basically how to talk about his feelings. So he didn't do anything, but he has tried to,
Yeah.
you know. So as they get older, the depression and stuff hits in. So if anybody can, you know, try and sit and talk to your child, explain feelings and
Yeah.
get police involved, because I didn't for a long time and it's escalated to the point that I don't have, you know, sharp knives in my house
Yeah.
or scissors.
Listen, I'm going to have to leave it there. Some of the language is getting a bit sensitive. Thank you, Claire. I appreciate that. We are going to wrap this live. 6:30. I appreciate you coming up and sharing your story. I'm going to be sharing the resources, Claire, so you can access those for additional support. Thank you for coming up and sharing your story with us, and thank you to everyone who has come up today. Zoe, any last words, my love?
Yeah, just to touch in, if you're concerned about safeguarding issues and you don't know where to go or how to challenge them, you can contact Childline and they're child safeguarding experts, and they will advise you on what necessary next steps are available for you to take,
Yeah.
because they're not bothered about who's right, who's wrong, or what. They just put the safety of the child first.
Yeah.
So that's my first point. And my second point is for children who are being bullied, Kidscape and Young Minds are really good, because they almost they've got resources that can explain their feelings. It can explain what they're going through to them in a way that they understand and can connect with. And I think one of them, I can't remember which one it is, but it does have some form of like support group that children can actually pick up the phone and ring and talk to somebody in a child-friendly way
Yeah.
that isn't a parent, isn't a teacher. They're not going to be judged, and they can be heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just my final thoughts on it.
Thank you so much, my darling. Let me put this up on the screen. Now, these resources are available if you click at the link in my bio. I'm going to drop you down, Zoe, but thank you so much, my darling. Thanks for your help and thanks for the resources today. I appreciate you. Big loves to Zoe. Um, I'm sorry, guys, I can't bring anyone else up in the box right now. I am about to wrap the live. What I will say is, yeah, these, if you click the link in my bio, you will get all of these links there. Sorry, guys, anyone trying to get in the box. I try and keep these to 90 minutes. I do need to actually go and feed my child. So today's live will be up on YouTube within the next 24 hours. Please use the link in my bio to get it, to go to the YouTube to watch this if you're coming in late. Don't worry, it's fine, Swoops. Thank you, Council Estate Chav. I appreciate you. Yeah, if you've come in late and you've missed this live and you want to watch it back, it will be on YouTube. I'll try and get it up tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow morning. Link is in my bio for the YouTube, so go and check that out. And if you do come over to YouTube, make sure you please subscribe to my channel. It's a new channel. Hit on the bell, and then you'll get notified every time I upload a new video there as well. If you've missed any of the other parenting lives or any of the other women's health live, they are all now over on my YouTube channel as well. And before you leave today, please make sure you are following me. If you have enjoyed today and you want to send some roses, you got a couple of minutes. I'm going to play a little closing song to send some love by way of sending roses, or if you want to send me a gift. I mean, I'm not partial to accepting a thank you gift. I'm just saying you don't have to, but if you'd like to, then you can. Um, and yeah, make sure you're following. If you're not following me, make sure you're following here on TikTok as well. We do these lives on a Tuesday. We do Women's Health Live, and on a Thursday we do a parenting live, like you've seen tonight. Big up Swoopsy with the 50 roses. And I am going to go make my daughter some dinner, but I'm going to go live over on Favouritids from my kitchen whilst I'm cooking. So if you want a little after party and you want to come and hang with me, pop over to favorited now whilst I'm cooking dinner. I'll only probably be on for like 15-20 minutes, but if you want to come over and chinwag with me over there, I will be over there. Thank you everyone that has been in the boxes, tapped the screen, sent a gift. I am ever so grateful to you all. Thank you everyone who sent a rose or a gift today. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll be back, what's tomorrow? Friday at 12 o'clock tomorrow doing FYP. And we're going to have a little song to close with. Love you all.